Okay, we have our crust already set aside. We're just getting ready to make the filling. I've got out everything here that we're going to need to make the apple pie. 4 apples. We're going to use 5 apples because they're quite small. 4 medium to large size apples, or at least medium, but these really are medium to small, so I'm just going to add a little bit more apple in there. So I've got 5 apples, and I've got some psyllium. The psyllium is the binding agent in it. It's what's going to firm everything up together and make it so when you slice your apple pie, it's going to come out into nice clean slices. And not to mention, it's really good for you, so it's a bonus. Half a cup of raisins, half a cup of agave. These are going to be our sweeteners. We have some cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, and just a dash of allspice and a dash of salt going in, and half a lemon. So the first thing we need to do is just set aside all of our spices and sweeteners and get to our apples, and we're going to peel those. Everything is going to be processed together, so if you have a food processor, so easy. If you don't, then you can finally chop the apple, and hopefully you're really good at chopping, but really the food processor makes life so easy. It's going to be just a whiz to do it. So we're going to start by peeling all of our apples, quartering them, taking the seeds out, and getting those ready to process. Okay, I've just finished peeling and quartering and taking the seeds out of my apples. So now what I'm going to do to make the apple pie filling, this is an amazing filling. It actually is just like the cooked apple pie. People come in and have it here at Radishes all the time, and it's totally delicious. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to take 2 of the 5 apples. Normally we'd save 3, if you're using 4 large apples, save 3 of the apples and put those aside, and just use 1. So I'm just going to use a little over 1 1/4. I used a little bit extra apple, and I'm going to put those in the processor. These we're going to put, we're going to use the grating attachment to finally chop the apples later on and mix them in with this mixture. So the mixture we're going to use is going to have all the rest of the ingredients that are going to go in the apple pie. So my favorite spatula. So we have our apple, 1 apple in there, a half a cup of agave, half a cup of raisins, half of a lemon, and not many seeds. Usually do the lemon in a separate bowl. Oh, there's a couple. And this is a large lemon, so I'm just going to do just barely half. So it really is huge. If you're using a lemon, the recipe calls for half a lemon or a whole lemon. Half a lemon is roughly 2 tablespoons. A whole lemon is 4 tablespoons. So if you're not sure, because the lemon's extra small, extra large, you can measure the juice. So we have about 2 tablespoons of juice that we're adding. Cinnamon, the recipe calls for 1½ tablespoons, or no, it calls for half a tablespoon of cinnamon. And there are 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon, so that means we're going to use 1½ teaspoons. Just easier to measure with my measuring spoons this way, especially since the tablespoon doesn't go into my bottle and the teaspoon does. So 1½ a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm going to do just barely a 1/4 teaspoon. I don't like a lot of nutmeg. A little bit really adds to it, but you can easily overdo nutmeg, so you have to be very careful with it. So just 1/4 of a teaspoon. And a dash of allspice. There's a misconception with allspice. A lot of people think it is a dash. I'm just taking just a little bit, a pinch. It's like 1/2 just a tiny, tiny bit. And I'm going to do the same with the salt. But allspice, some people think it's a mixture of cloves and nutmeg and all those seasonings together. It's not. Allspice is an actual seed, and they call it allspice because the flavor of it you can usually use instead of nutmeg and cloves and those types of spices. So allspice means it can, that's where the name came from, is that it can, you can use it instead of the other ones. Anyway, just a little. So we have everything. We have lemon, oh, and psyllium. Lemon, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, salt, some apple, agave, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of psyllium. 2 to 3. I'm going to put 2.5. And we're going to put our cover on and just process this very well to make a real mush. And this mixture is what the apple is going to get stirred into. It's going to be our base. Stop it now and just scrape it down with my spatula. Again. Just gonna let it go. They want to get quite creamy and really blend together well. So there's our mixture. It's really processed well together. So now what we're going to do, move these things out of the way, bring over our bowl. So now we're going to transfer this mixture into our big bowl. Oh, it smells so good and cinnamony. There. And we're just going to set this aside. Processor back. And this time, instead of the S-blade, we're going to put on the grating attachment. Put our top back on, and we're going to lift off the top so that we can feed our apples into the chute and back. With this process, you can only fill the apples just up to the top, and actually look, they're all going to just fit. So probably at home, you're probably going to have to do it a couple times because I'm fortunate enough to be able to use the industrial processor here. So turn it on, just press them through. Very, very, very easy. Oops. That's okay. We're done. This is going to get washed away anyway. Okay, so that goes into the sink. Pieces that were on top are just going to get chopped up quickly. Another thing that I'm really blessed with is to have these beautiful ceramic knives. I had heard about ceramic knives, but until I came to work at Rawlicious with Angus and Tracy, I had never used them before, and they're absolutely amazing. So I've been blessed to have them to work with, and now that I have worked with them, I would love my own set, and I will get my own set. They're totally amazing. They're much sharper than steel knives. They're harder to sharpen, but often you have to take them back to the store that you got them from, or send them to the manufacturer and they'll sharpen them. But they stay sharp for a long time. We use them day in, day out here at Rawlicious, and they're still sharp, and it's been open here at least 8 months, 8-9 months, so it's awesome. Okay, so we have our apples and we have our mixture, and now we're just going to stir it all in together. If you have a different size grating attachment, it's fine too. I've done it with the thin slice blade, and that works quite well. And if it seems a little bit too big, you can use the slice blade and then just chop it up with your knife if that's what you have. If you don't have an attachment that grates, you can kind of make do with whatever you have generally. I've used a few different attachments and things to do it. And I used to just chop them up by hand. Sometimes if you don't have a food processor, it's what you do. You could put all the other ingredients in the blender, blend down the first part of the first mixture, and then finally chop all the apples, mix it together in a bowl. So now we have it all well mixed, very easy, and we're going to pour it all into our crust, our beautiful coconut sunflower seed crust. And we're just going to press it down. This keeps well for several days in the fridge too. Not that it's going to last that long. In fact, depending on how many people you have around visiting you or how many you're feeding, you may have to make a few. Just press it in. I love the design on the top with the grated apples. It's really pretty. Just smooth it right in. That's it. And no baking, no time to like wait for it. It's done. It's actually really simple, quick, easy as apple pie. Enjoy.